Well, welcome everyone. We're so excited to have you here with us for the book gathering. We're today discussing how important it is to train your team to become a high performing team. So, if you have some issues with your team training, coaching, hiring, this would definitely be the great book gathering for you. We are discussing today chapter 12 from How to Make Millions with Your Medical Spa. So, I'm Dori Soukup, and with me here is Miss Tara Lamkin. Say hi, Tara. Woohoo! We are so
Welcome.
excited. Happy Monday, everybody. And today, again, this topic is so needed because most of the phone calls we get in our place are phone calls of people wanting to know how they can transform their team into a high performing team. So, this is a big issue. And those of you who have joined us live, whether you are on Instagram, Facebook, on Zoom, I don't know if we did YouTube Live today or not.
I don't think so
We didn't make
today.
it to YouTube Live today, but here we are. So if you have any questions, feel free to submit them on any of these platforms so we can answer your questions. So again, welcome. I know we have a bunch of people jumping on right now. I'm Dori Soukup with Tara Lamkin, and today we are discussing chapter 12 from the book How to Make Millions with Your Medical Spa. So, do you have a good weekend?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to enjoy some sun here in Florida.
I know.
So
We
it's
actually
nice.
have 80-degree weather. We don't mean to rub it in, guys,
No.
but it is. It's very nice to be living in Florida. Actually, that's
Mhm.
why we live in Florida, exactly for this time of the year. As a matter of fact, I just hopped in my car for a minute and it is like boiling hot. It feels like we're already in January or I mean,
Well,
in
we're past
August. Yeah.
January.
It feels like we're already in
Waiting.
August or July.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you can hear us okay. Give us a thumbs up and we're gonna go ahead and get started with what's new first.
Yes. So we have actually quite a few things that are new.
Yep.
Number one, InSPAration Management is super honored. We got to receive the Consulting Firm of the Year award, which is absolutely amazing.
Do a little happy dance.
We're all excited. So that was awesome for receiving that. Second, we have the Millionaire Circle seminar. That's going, well, it's actually already live. You've done the first virtual of it last week.
First module.
So we have 3 more modules. So you can still join and be a part of the seminar live now.
And step into that Millionaire Circle, guys.
Yep. And then we have published some new Meet the Expert interviews.
Yep.
So you can see those on YouTube as well. While you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell because Dori's continuously interviewing more experts. And so you definitely want to be one of the first to see those new videos and shows that are being published live.
Interviews.
Yes,
and if you want to be on Meet the Expert, you should go to meettheexperts.com and apply so you too can be featured on one of those shows. Very exciting.
And we have a lot of people in the industry that are reaching out to be on that. I mean, the schedule's filling up rather quickly. So
good.
And then we still have the Leap Ahead seminar available on demand, so they can automatically get those virtually. And then as always, we want you to like, comment, share us on social media, follow our post, be engaged. I heard them talking about some chandelier or lampshade earlier, so go vote and see what your opinion is. But definitely just engage with us. We love the engagement on social media, and wherever you're following from, make sure you always like, share, comment, or ring the notification bells. So ready to talk about chapter 12, training and coaching the team?
I am.
Yep, perfect.
Woo-hoo.
So we'll start. Dori, why do you think most businesses don't focus on business training?
I don't think they see it as a priority. I think a lot of people, when they get into business, they train their team on how to deliver the actual treatment itself, the protocols and the do's and the don'ts and the product knowledge. But then they don't really take the time to explain to the team how that treatment can actually generate revenue and what they need to do to maximize that revenue. Actually, we had somebody here in the office not too long ago. And when I asked her how come she didn't look for help, like some people don't even know that there is help available. That's the part that I'm shocking, because Google is my best friend. I don't know about you. I'm Googling everything. So how can you not Google, I need help with my business?
Right.
So a lot of people just don't see it. And part of the other reason, actually, Tara, is because they're medical professionals, right? And a lot of times in medical school, you don't even, business does not even come into the picture. So therefore, they don't focus on that.
Right.
And when you don't focus on business, then you're leaving success to a chance, or you're winging it, as I call it. And that's not something that you should be doing. The focus as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a medical director, or any kind of leadership position within a medical spa, wellness center, no matter what you have going on, one of the most important things is to focus on both aspects of training, and that is your clinical training and then your business training. And when you focus on both, now you really have a successful business.
Yeah. And it's a shame that it's not part of that training index, like business education. We got to get you in some colleges where you'll be part of the business education.
Well, actually, that's what we're doing. We actually give you an MBA. I mean, just the leap ahead alone is, and we've had this comments over and over. People come to us and tell us, this is better than my MBA because you are so specific on exactly what I need to do to succeed.
Right.
So it's so important. It is really a college course. Truly is.
So, question. I know we could have people who are joining us. They're either starting out or they have an existing team. So let's start with the existing team. What can someone do right to improve their team's performance now?
Yeah. So if you have a team now, it's very important to assess and see what type of team you really have. So we use the grading system of an A, B, and C. So for example, if you take your team, all the team members that you have, and you look at each person individually as to their skill level, their productivity, their ability to generate revenue for you, their true value, the value that they're actually adding to your business. If you look at those folks one by one, and then do the rating system. So for example, A to me means that these are the A players. These are the people that all you do is you tell them one time what needs to be done, and they just hit the ground running and go and get it done. They go way beyond. They anticipate your needs and they just go and get it done. So if you were to look at this as a sports team, these are your starters. So if it's a basketball team, these are the 5 guys that are going to jump on the court first thing. So those are your A players. They're the best players you could have on the team. And I hope that you have lots of A players. Then you look at the Bs. The B players are people who are good people to have on the team, but your goal as a leader is to take them from a B to an A. So those people are willing to learn, they're open-minded, they're hungry for knowledge. You might have to coach them and train them a little bit more than an A player, but they're great people to have. And again, if you move them to an A player, now you have a really high-performing team. And then you have the C players. God help us. We don't want C players on our team. These are your bench warmers, right? They're there like as a last resort, but truly you shouldn't really have them on your team. If you tried, I'm not saying go fire them, please don't make that mistake. So you want to take the C's, you want to find out what can you do as far as training, coaching, training and coaching and training and coaching to bring them up to a B player and then eventually to an A. So if there's desire there, those people are just probably need some training and coaching. And once we do that, now we're really working towards having a high performing team. But the key thing here as a leader, it's very important to know when you should cut your losses and just like ready to move on. And that's probably one of the biggest problem people make is they hang on. There's a famous saying that says hire slow, fire fast. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of team members right here sitting with us right now. And one of the things that we do when we hire someone is we always invite them to come and spend a day, maybe 2 days with us, sometimes 3 days, to really see if they fit the culture, if they fit the whole dynamic in the office. How are they going to blend in with the rest of the team players on the team? So if you do your due diligence up front and take your time, then you're more likely to have eight players on the team.
Well, that also that day helps you decide, are they a C, are they a B? Because they can be great, like you said, as a C. You just need to maybe spend a little bit more one-on-one time with them versus your A's and B's. They can,
yeah, it could be that way too. But you have to be careful when you meet a C player. You can actually spot them for lack of initiative, lack of making a suggestion or noticing something, or just feeling that vibration in their tone and their energy. I mean, you could tell a lot about a person in one day. Let's talk about Patty. She's sitting here, and she's gone through our interview process. She came and spent a couple of days with us, and you can tell a lot about a person. Like, we saw the desire that she had, the commitment that she has, the passion that she has that desire and their energy, and frankly, you cannot train that. They either have to have it, or they really should not work with you. Yes, we have a question. Yes.
We have a question coming in from Melissa. She says, I interviewed an esthetician. She came in, she did the hands-on interview like you had just mentioned, and it all seemed to be going well. Then she called her last two employers and the review was terrible. She says, now what do I do?
Yeah, well, she did not follow the Clarity hiring system. Because really what we should do first is check references. That's the first step in the Clarity hiring system. That's the C in Clarity, is to check references. So she would have eliminated all that time wasting, time that she just wasted on the in-phone interview, in-person interview, hands-on interview, and then you call references. But see, that's what a lot of people do. This is the old method of hiring. That's not what we teach. We teach the new method of hiring, where we flip the hiring process upside down. And that's the first thing we do, is actually check references. So that's a very important step. But Melissa, you really need to get your hands on the blueprint to effective team building. And we teach in it the Clarity hiring system. And it really all starts with the hiring process.
And I mean, and it's a full manual. So Dori has every description of questions you should be asking them during the interview, the references, things like that. So it's a must-have. Whether you're expanding today or tomorrow, it's a must-have. So now let's talk about those who aren't in business and have not hired their team yet. What should they be aware of so that they're not getting in these kind of situations that Melissa was in?
And actually that goes into the hiring process. This process, you guys, is so important. And you don't want to do this method. I always laugh about this during the leap ahead when people can see me. Some people's hiring process is like this. They feel their pulse. Okay, I can feel it. Okay, you're hired.
You're good to go. They do.
I'm choking now. So we can't do that. So if you're a brand new business and now you are just getting started to hire people, there are some things that you need to do before you hire them. And that's getting your position descriptions all in order, how you're going to pay them, how you're going to reward them, what benefits are you going to offer. So you have to have all this preliminary work in advance all done before you even do your first interview. And if you follow the Clarity hiring system, that's going to help you avoid so many costly mistakes, because hiring the wrong people is definitely costly. And don't be just going by, oh, but I liked her. I have a gut feeling I liked her. Liking someone does not mean they're going to do the job. I can like Bill over here, but if he's not talented, I can like him all I want. I would love to go have a drink with him, but is he going to be able to add value to your business? That's where the important thing lies. So be careful about,
Mhm.
your whole process. Yes, we have another question.
We do. Caitlin asked, what is the position that you recommend hiring first if she is?
Oh, that's a great question. I would definitely hire my guest relations
Mhm.
team first, and hire two of everything, by the way, just like we talked about this before about Noah. What is it, Noah?
Yeah.
That built
The ark, yeah.
ark and had two of each,
Mhm.
followed God's instruction. You need two of each. You need two guest relations. You need two injectors. You need two estheticians. You need two laser techs, because God forbid if something happened to one, you're not stuck with nothing. So two, 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 two. Even if they're two part-time, it's better to have two part-time than to have one full-time. So two of everything is what you need. And guest relations, definitely. That department, we talked about this, I think, last week. That department can make you or break you, really. And it's so important to really.
And I definitely wouldn't hire guest relations without the clarity hiring,
for sure.
because I mean, we all know whatever is on their resume. I mean, if you see that they're in and out, in and out, in and out of places, they're going to hop into your place and then they're going to hop right back out, right? I think you
Exactly.
use the saying during Leap Ahead, zebras don't change their stripes.
Yeah.
It's still the same concept, right?
Yeah. Well, we believe in past behavior predicts future behavior. And I have to tell you, one of the deciding factors, like we'll talk about Patty again, she's joining our team here. And one of the things that I admired about what she was telling me during the interview was the fact that she did not trade dollars for time. She was so passionate about her previous position that she worked until the work was done. It was not like, oh, let me clock in and let me clock out. Well, that tells a lot about a person because that's the way I behave. That's the way I behaved when I had a corporate job, because that shows the true passion, that shows the true commitment to the success that she has actually committed to. And when you have that, again, you cannot teach that, you guys. That is so valuable to an organization that it makes a big difference between whether she is an A player, a B player, or a C player. So, and that's what you want. You want these A players on your team. It's going to make a huge difference in your business.
And if they don't fall into one of those, they're not on the team.
That's right.
We don't do D's unless.
Yeah, well, and that's again, I like to use the sports analogies with hiring, because that's exactly what sports teams do, right? And if they're not cutting it, what happens to them?
They get traded.
They get traded. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. We're talking about having people that are committed to your goals, committed to your purpose. And if they understand the purpose, like we're always singing, our clients are our number one priority, right? It's one of our values is prosperity. We want to make sure that our members are prosperous, and everything that we do on daily basis lead you to being more prosperous. And that's really what this is all about. So you need to look at your team and ask yourself, are they adding value to your business? Are they making your clients experience the best treatments possible and get the best results possible? Or are they just going through the motions? Oh, here I go. I have another facial. Come on in. And just go through the motions without really doing a proper discovery, without making the proper upgrade, doing the treatments, going through the motions, letting them go without making a recommendation at the end for home care products. That's not fulfilling a purpose. That's a C player. What I just described is a C player. And those have no room on your team. They really don't. They need to go away.
They're going to hurt your company long term.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah, they're going to kill your company.
Absolutely. Right. So while we're on the subject of team training, right, we have so many members and we come across this problem all the time when it's always about the team, right? When we first introduce ourselves to them. And then they always say, well, my team doesn't want to attend the team training. So how could someone address this challenge? They
Yeah.
just don't want to show up for the team meeting trainings.
They just don't want to show up to the training. I wonder what a magic player, we were in Orlando and Daytona, right? I wonder what a magic player, when they go up to their coach saying, I don't want to come to today's practice. I wonder what the coach says to them.
I don't know that they say anything. I think next thing they just see next to their name on the
Traded.
roster, traded. They see a global social media post saying so-and-so's up for trade, you know?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
It really, again, all starts way back in the hiring process. And if a team member does not want to attend training, well, that says a lot about who they are.
Right.
Because if they have any kind of desire to succeed and to move up your ladder and have a great career path with your company, they should want to welcome training. So that tells me two things. Either your training stinks and people just don't want to come and attend because you're not using everything, the tools that we have, or the person is just out to lunch. They don't care about their career. They don't care about whether they succeed and fail. And frankly, those kind of people need to hit the road. But if that person is committed to training, but they feel that you're lacking in training, because let's face it takes a long time to create training material. I mean, I didn't just wake up one morning and wave the magic wand and voila, all these tools appeared. It takes a lot of work. And that's why sometimes I'm puzzled that people don't actually there's tools around, let me tap into them. And that's all you have to do, because when you have training material that is effective, that it works and is organized in a way that's going to keep the people's attention, your team's attention, then they're going to be so happy to attend training. But if you bring me to training and your training is not so good, then no, I'm not going to want to come to training. Why would I want to come to training? Because you stink, and that's not a good thing. So you got to have the tools, and it takes so much time to really prepare for the meeting. So instead, what we do, that's our life, is we give you all the training tools that you need, and all you have to do is just use them with the team to improve performance. And when they do that, then life is just so easy.
I mean, I just had a call with a new member, a doctor the other day, and she was like, why did I wait to get my hands on this? I mean, she had all her management team on it, and on the welcome call, she's like, you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing that. I mean, she literally was so excited. And we joke about you, when you get excited, you're like, let's go. She was so excited. She kept jumping up to the camera in the Zoom, and her team kept saying, scoot back. I mean, she was so excited. And she's like, they're right there. She's like, I could, and she told her team, she's like, imagine we could implement this in less than a week.
You're talking about Dr. Holder?
Yes.
And what's funny is Sarah and we met her in New York a year ago. So she could have been so far ahead already in a year. She could have been, especially all the work we did during the coronavirus. I mean, I busted my hiney during the coronavirus producing new material. So yeah, and it's really interesting to me. That's one thing I never quite understand, is why people delay their success. I don't know. I got tired trying to figure that one out. So we just put our information out, and if you really want to get to success, as we say, the fastest way possible, then it's very important to have the proper tools that you need to make it work. So that's really a very important thing. So, actually, you told me another quote while we were doing the Millionaire Circle. One of the attendees, actually also a member, was saying that he's a doctor. He had been to so many medical conferences and attended so many classes. And his exact words were,
what did he say? It was like last week. I can't.
Yeah, he said, I have attended so many medical classes, and no one has ever kept my attention for 2 hours. That's what he said.
And he sat through doctor's courses.
Yeah.
And he was just amazed, and you could see it in his face, because I was on Zoom with him, and his eyes were just so lit up. And he's also a member, they joined the membership, and that was their first introductory to you, was they joined the membership like the day before the Millionaire Circle, and he's like, she has my undivided attention.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear, right? It's nice to see and hear.
Well, that's what keeps us
Correct.
going. That's the best thing I can do to fuel my passion
Mhm.
is hear comments like this, because when you hear that, then you know you're doing the right thing.
Right. Well, like,
Oh, we got lots of hearts.
Hearts all
Oh,
over.
Hearts
thank
back
you.
at
We give it
you.
back.
Yeah, we also have a question going back to understanding really that it's all in the hiring process.
Mhm.
But we have Rebecca, and she says that she had hired on a new technician during the hiring process. She claimed she was a team player,
Mhm.
but come to find out now all she wants to do is sit in the break room waiting for her schedule to get filled, and she just won't do anything to help her promote.
Yeah.
So what do I do?
Bless her heart.
Mhm.
Not the employee,
No,
the
the-
entrepreneur.
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that comes into the next section of the book, which is the onboarding process, right?
Yeah, that's well, it's really, it all starts from the very beginning.
Mhm.
And understanding in your employee manual, because you need to have this, because you can't be backpedaling, and that's what this person is doing right now, is backpedaling. And if you have the orientation manual and the position descriptions and the employee manual, so this is a must have also. When you have these tools, then the person knows right from the get-go what is exactly their responsibility and how they can be a real team player. So if somebody like that comes up to me, was it Rebecca?
Mm-hmm.
So Rebecca, here's my advice to you. You need to bring that person back. You need to open up your employee manual and your orientation manual. If you already did that, I don't know. If you don't have it, then you really need to have it. But you need to sit down with that person and say, Sarah, the reason I hired you is because I saw the passion that you had. I saw the contribution that you can give. And I recall from my notes during the hiring process, you told me how passionate you are about everything and how you wanted to build your clientele and how you want to deliver the best experience. And frankly, I'm a little confused right now. Can you please help me understand what happened? Because to my knowledge, you were all eager and you wanted to do self-marketing and you wanted to do this and that. And now it seems like the thing that you like the most is to sit in the team lounge and wait for us to deliver clients to you. So please help me understand what happened here from the time you got hired to now. So I would start with that. Then you hear whatever she has to say. Then you need to coach her. You should use the I care model to coach her. And then you need to tell her the consequences. So what would happen if you don't see better results? So if the team player does not know what the consequences are, then they're just going to keep doing whatever it is that they want to do. And this is not the wild, wild west. We have law and order. We have a business to run. We have clients to satisfy. And it takes truly a whole team to do that. So if you have a weak link on your team, it either needs to get stronger, it needs to reconnect to the rest of the team, or you need to say, I guess you decided not to be part of the team anymore. And she needs to go away. So that's a quick little answer for you on that one. But definitely, if you make it clear during the hiring process, all the expectations, the consequences, what ifs, all these things, then you have a much better transition from interview to actually being part of the team.
And would you count that as your onboarding process? I know in the book you kept talking about onboarding. That these are your onboarding tools.
Absolutely. So they're hiring and onboarding. So once you hire someone, the way you present yourself and your company and what you want to show them is very important to have in your employee manual. So they're clear about what they're getting into. They know their compensation. They know their rewards, their benefits, all the things that you can get from this opportunity that you're giving them. but they also need to know that they need to add value.
Right.
I mean, that's one of the most important things. Like, why? Like, no employee should be a cost to you. They shouldn't be. They should all bring value with them. Because if they're costing you, they're the wrong people on the team. Because if they're costing you, you're going to be out of business. They have to come with value. And that's what gets the business growing. Right?
I like it. Well, then also in here, I think one of the key things we always keep reverting back to is the commitment agreement, right?
Mhm.
You're getting their commitment to do. The goals are on your commitment agreement. Everything is right there. So
Mhm.
you're having, and if that first day they can't agree to the commitment, I mean,
Yeah,
no sense in going any further, right?
absolutely.
So perfect.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about what should a business owner train their team on?
Oh my goodness, that's a big loaded question. So everything that you offer in your facility, besides the clinical training that you need to do, as far as the business training, you need to really train them on the business model that you have. They need to understand how they bring that value that I was just speaking about. So how can they upgrade treatments? How can they recommend retail products? How can they ask for referrals? How can they increase their retention? How can they be a better team player? How can they self market? How can they ask for reviews? I mean, these are all things that they need to be trained on. As a matter of fact, if you don't have the recipes for success, and please don't think that I'm doing a commercial here. I just want you to have the tools that you need. Frankly, if you have it or not, it's up to you. But I know that if I want to fix something in my business, the first thing I'm going to look for is what tools are available out there that can help me achieve that success. And when you have that, then all you have to do is follow the blueprint. And again, you've reached success. So it's very important to really train them on every aspect of the business side on how to be successful. That's what we need to train them on. And fortunately, you have the recipes for success. You have over 20 modules of 1 hour each that basically takes them through the MBA for an employee. So the Leap Ahead is an MBA for leaders, and the recipes for success is an MBA for your employees. And if they go through that, oh my gosh, you'll be soaring like crazy.
And as a member, those that are with us and joining, you have access to that already. So it's not like you have to go out and grab it. You already have it.
Yeah, all members for sure.
And you can create I have members that are printing all of them, and then it's right there. It's recipes for success. And there's no question. Like, you're literally giving them the recipe, Dori.
Yeah, I am. That's why it's called recipes for success.
And I like the thing when you mentioned earlier goals, right? So, I know that on an initial interview, everyone is aware that it's goal driven, right? Every company is goal driven, as well as our clients should be focused on goals and experiences. So it's not like 6 weeks into the job, they're like, oh, I didn't know that we were going to be given goals. It's like, no, we all knew, and I think that could help so many of our members as well. So let's talk about what's the difference, because we keep talking about training. I know we've mentioned the iCare coaching system. So let's talk about what's the difference between training and actual coaching.
So training is actually learning a skill, and that takes time, right? So let's say you hire someone and you bring them on, and really it takes a couple weeks to truly train that person onto the skills that you want them to actually have. Where coaching is just fine tuning those skills. Training takes long. Coaching can be on the fly. It could be 5 minutes here and there, just a quick little tip here, a little tip there. And that's really the difference between the two. Now, you need to have both. So you have your training curriculum when first someone comes and joins your team. And then you have the coaching opportunities once they start running on their own, but you're watching, you're monitoring, you're seeing what they're doing great, recognize if they're not doing something great, then that's the time you take them aside and you coach. And that's when you would use the iCare coaching model that we have. And when you do that, then now you have good solid structure for your success. Because if you don't have that structure, then again you're winging it and you're leaving success to a chance, and that's the last thing you want to do.
So earlier when you were talking about the A, B, and C's, right, Dori? You had mentioned, I'm not telling you to go out and get rid of all your C's right now.
Right.
Like, that's not what she's saying. But now let me ask you, when do you just give up on someone when they're not bringing that value to that position? Because it does have to
Yeah.
take place.
Actually, we just went through that because we had a team member. I made a mistake hiring. So we all make mistakes hiring. And sometimes, even though you try everything, you still can't. And you make
Right.
that mistake sometimes. But the mistake that people do is let it linger and linger and linger and linger. And then, you're left with terrible performance, bad customer service, and just the whole thing is bad. So in your employee manual, you should have again the process of which would cause someone to depart from your company. So you train them, your onboarding process, you coach, you train and coach again, you train and coach again. And if you're not seeing improvements, that's when your consequences will kick in, and you have your verbal warning, written warning, maybe send them home for a couple of days to think about whether they really want to work with you or not, come back, recommitted, or I guess you've decided not to be part of the team. And that's really all you need to say when you terminate, by the way. This is my favorite because you've done everything. You've done everything you can possibly have done, right? As a leader, you need to do that. You owe that to them, actually. But then at the point where you're not seeing improvements, they're costing you money. And that's the time where you need to say, I guess you have decided not to be part of the team, because it was them that decided. It had nothing to do with you. You did everything you can possibly do, but then they did not do their part. And therefore, you have to make the change. So it's all a process. And when you have that system, that process in place, and how you bring people into the family, how you treat them while they're here part of the family, how they treat you, are they adding value to the family? And if everything is good, then you're going to be together for a long time. And if they get sideways, or they don't want to do this now, or they're a prima donna, or it's beyond me to go clean the kitchen or whatever, then time to go.
I think that goes back to your whole sports analogy. It's time to trade.
That's right. Time for a trade. Trading time.
Trading time. Refer them to the competition, you
That's
always
right.
say.
That's right. Refer them to the competition.
So now let me ask you, you said you train. How often should someone train their team?
Oh, I love
Once
that.
a year, every other year?
I love this question. And the answer is, how good is the team now? That is the answer. So if your team is operating at maximum capacity, their VPGs, their volume per guest, is so high for both service and retail, their retention rate is 85, 90%. Their capacity, they're asking for reviews, they're asking for referrals, they're doing all the great things, then all you need is maintenance training, right? Just to keep fresh, to teach them new things. Maybe there's a new treatment, maybe there's a new business, which we're always coming up with something new. So those are the things that you can lay back a little bit, but you still need to do it. Just like they do again in sports, they train all the time. You gotta train all the time. So just to sit back and say, oh, we're doing so good, I don't need any training. And we've had people tell us that. We've had people say, oh, we're so good, we don't need any training. Well, watch out to that phrase. It's gonna come back and bite you.
And usually, I recall someone that said that, and about 6 months later, phone rang, and they're like, we need help. And I was like, but I thought you were so great.
Yeah,
they're
so
like,
great.
But they got complacent, and then they didn't actually realize they weren't looking at the numbers, right? They started to go down, and then all these calls that they thought they were scheduling really wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So
it goes back to my frog story. Remember the frog story?
In the pot of water?
In the pot of water. If you take a frog and you put it in a pot of water and you turn on the heat slowly, well, that frog will just sit there and die a slow death. Where if you take the frog and put it in a boiling pot of water, what does the frog do?
Jump out.
Jump out. So that's what you just
Yeah.
described. Many businesses, by the way, this is a great analogy for you to remember the frog story. There are so many businesses that are dying a slow death and they don't even know it, just like that frog. So
Mhm.
be aware.
Right. Well, it goes back to, we mentioned Dr. Holden earlier. She was so excited and we got our P&Ls when we looked at it. And I'm like, you have some great, like we noticed some things right away we can adjust. And she was so excited. She's like, because she looks at her all the time and to her, it looked normal. But an outside eye brought that to her attention.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and that's the value of working with a coach, and a team like ours.
For
We
sure.
have a question on social media.
Yeah, Dori, Sandra said that she has a really great esthetician. She really feels like she's upbeat with the clients, is what she says. But she doesn't send home care products with every client.
Yeah, because she's so upbeat.
I think that goes back to a couple chapters before where you said this is the only industry that you can do 50% of your job and still keep your job.
Yeah. So, being upbeat is all fine and dandy, but, it goes beyond being upbeat. You really have to do what's best for the client. And what's best for the client is to really educate them on what they need to do at home. So she's really not great. And that's the part that really drives me crazy a lot of times is they think they have a great team member, but they're really not great. So she's probably good and upbeat at doing the treatment. That's fine. But then she needs to be upbeat on recommending home care products so they can go home. So with a person like that, though, it sounds to me like she needs goals, she needs targets, and she needs to be monitoring those goals and targets and make sure that they actually reach them. And again, it's all about training and coaching. So a person like this, I would take aside, I would speak with them, find out where they are. Maybe they're just not trained on the Pride system, for example, to recommend home care products. And she's just costing her money right now. So you can be upbeat all you want, but if you're costing me money, at the end of the day, we all have bills to pay. We have a business to run. We have responsibilities. We have payroll. We have expenses.
Right.
So being upbeat is not, you can't take upbeat to the bank.
So Dori, we have
Hi, Matthew.
we have Dr. Omar here on Zoom with us. And he says you keep talking about your membership and having these tools. Would you recommend, he's like, is it best that I work with you and be a member and get all the tools, or should he just get some a la carte? Now I know that answer, but what would you say to Dr. Manuel?
Well, I think he should set up a success planning session and let one of our experts talk to him, find out more about his business, and then make the proper recommendation. But frankly, for anybody that has a business, it's a no-brainer, really. To me, it's a no-brainer to get your hands on the business model that we have and just start implementing, because you can't go wrong. Why reinvent the wheel? That's how I feel. So
I agree with you on that. I mean, the time of an employee manual. I mean, you
just
would
to go
pay
hire
an attorney.
Yeah, just to hire an attorney
more than
to
a
write
year,
that. Yeah.
more than a year's salary to write that. I mean,
It is.
it's extensive.
Yeah.
So,
it is.
and the nice thing is the way you've set up the InSPAration model for our members, they have a portal, they're able, which we call our university, right? Again, we're getting our MBAs here.
Yeah.
So they have a university, they can simply download them, customize them a little bit to fit, whether they're a wellness center, a med spa, an aesthetic center. And then here we go. They're manuals. And Dr. Holden, she's like, I've already ordered she went and ordered 3-ring binders to match her business colors. So she's got all her binders. So I mean,
You need to ding that one.
yeah, you can make it. And
That
like
was
she's
good.
like,
Go.
"Woo." So I mean, you can make implementing manuals fun,
Yeah.
right?
It
I
is
mean,
fun.
it
How
can be
can it not
great.
be?
You
Yeah,
know,
it's-
she saw ours. So when I'm doing calls with them, you can see our manuals, and they're all in orange. And she's like, "Are those your manuals?" I'm like, "They match our company. They're orange." So she went out and did the
That's
same
fun.
thing.
Good for her.
So,
We have another little quick
Sure.
study that has been reading ahead and preparing questions.
Oh, good.
And she says,
So Emily says she's been reading ahead and that you recommend posting team statistics in the team lounge.
Yeah.
She's
Hallelujah.
wondering, doesn't this upset people who aren't performing as
No,
well? What would
no.
you do about that?
Oh, actually, that should light a fire under their asses. Just like they do in sports. Did you ever watch a baseball game?
I feel like
And
we should own a sports team.
I know we should. I mean, that's been my dream. Actually, I would love to.
We should
I would
own a
love to
sports
go
team.
coach the Magic. You
There
know,
you go.
they have such terrible leadership. Actually, we've had every opportunity to win every championship, back from the Shaq days to Tracy to Dwight Howard. We've had every superstar possible, but because we have terrible leadership, we have not won. So yes, I would love to coach an NBA team. That's
There you go.
I would love that. But anyway, yeah, what was the question?
I know. I think we subtracted on. Stay tuned. You heard it first here. Dori's gonna own an NBA team, so watch out.
Oh, coach one.
Coach one, not own it.
I don't know. I'll have to marry a very rich guy to own one.
What was her
What was the
question?
question?
What was it again?
So
Sorry.
she's reading ahead about
Yeah.
team statistics.
Oh,
in the team
statistics.
lounge.
Yeah, and oh yes, now I know. Okay.
Upset the
So,
other team members.
Yeah, no, you don't upset anybody. So my response was, in sports, again, they post everybody's statistic.
Mhm.
You don't see the baseball team hiding their statistics because they have somebody who didn't have any hits for the last however many games, you know.
Mhm.
No, this is not about upsetting anybody. This is about showing what everybody is doing and being held accountable for your own performance. It has nothing to do with being upset. It has to do with everybody has a target, and we need to be monitoring these targets to make sure that the team is being productive and they're bringing value again to the business. And when you do that, you're going to be so much better off. I love posting numbers actually in the team lounge. As a matter of fact, you can have a wall of fame for these superstars that are really good. They can be there, and then you can still have everybody's numbers in two places: the wall of fame, and then your everybody's performance. And what that does, actually, when they see they're not up to par, they're going to be thinking, it's either I better get my stuff together or the writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
This is not about personality, you guys. This is not about, oh, she's my favorite or that one is. This is all really, it's a business. At the end of the day, we all have a job to do, and we all need to perform up to our capabilities. And I don't understand why one person can be a superstar and then the other one not. What's the difference? Lack of effort, lack of training, lack of coaching.
And that burning desire.
Exactly. Lack of desire, lack of purpose. So really, that's what it comes down to. So who do you want on your team? Do you want these people that are going to hustle and get the work done and get everybody what they need? Or do you want the ones that are just barely moving and so slow and whining about everything? And it's just,
That's not good.
well,
And I think-
Emily also, she re-commented on this and she actually said, how am I supposed to find time to go through individually and train them?
how can you not? There's a famous saying that I always say. People always say, well, what about if I train them and then they leave? And then I say, imagine not training them and them staying. Like, would you want a team that's bad? Let's go back to a sports team. If they're continually bad, what happens? You end up firing the coaches, you end up firing the entire team. You have to start from scratch. You have to have time to train. If you don't have time to train yourself, then you definitely need us to train them. So you can use all the tools here, or you can change your structure of your company a little bit and create department leads, where the department leads can be responsible for training the rest of the team. Believe me, listen, we've seen every problem, every situation,
We've heard
we
every
have
excuse.
every excuse. We have the answers for you. You just have to listen and apply and use the tools that you have.
No.
But if you don't have time to train, that's what Recipes for Success is. I'm training your team for you.
Yeah.
So if I were you, I would go sign up for that like
Right.
immediately and start having them trained by me. That's what you should do.
And it doesn't have to be you as the owner having to do the training,
Right.
like you
Yeah.
said. I mean, if you have someone that's making their targets on that wall,
Mhm.
what are they doing differently that the rest of the team isn't? So let's
Mhm.
ask them, what are you doing? Like, let's get everybody
Yeah.
on board. For all you know, they would be happy to share your secret. But I mean, as Dr. Holden had said on my call, and I keep referring to her, but she was so excited, Dori.
Mhm.
And you know, we opened up the Recipes for Success, and her one of her managers at the time, she's like, so
she has 3 locations,
yes.
by the way.
So she's like, does everybody have to do this? And she's like, oh yeah, every month they all have theirs. And she's like, if they don't show up for Recipes for Success, she's like, they get 3 tries. They don't show up. She goes, we need to replace them. Like it was the first call. It was an expectation right away. And these are the clients we love working with,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So now we're going to go over to, as you always end every chapter, we have our shortcuts to success. And I already have a feeling of what all these shortcuts are going to be. So your shortcuts to success for team training and coaching the team are have an employee manual and an orientation manual, which you have right here. Set the culture and expectations from day one. Have an initial training curriculum, a continual training and coaching program, which we talked about, which is the eye care, is a continuous coaching, and then invest in your own training and the training of the team.
Hallelujah.
And that's where I think the difference is, changing your mindset from using a membership is like an expense. We're not an expense. We're an investment in not only you, but we're an investment in your entire team. And so to me, that investment is so worth it.
For sure.
So
well said.
Yeah. So next month, before we leave, just a reminder, we are still doing the Millionaire Circle. Dori is still teaching that live. There's still time to join us. It's recorded, so you can, listen to series 1, but jump in with us on number 2. It actually is going to be next Monday, which is March 8th. So call the office, talk to Sarah, let her get you enrolled so that you can step into that Millionaire Circle with us. And then we're talking about chapter 13. I can't believe we're already to chapter 13. In 2 weeks. We'll see you back here. It's all going to be about motivating the team. So now you've trained the team, you've coached the team, and now it's your job to motivate the team. Woo-hoo. So if you're joining us and you don't have your hands yet on Dori's How to Make Millions with your medical spa book, you can go right to Amazon, purchase the book. We'll ship it right to you. And those of you that do have your hands on the book, we're asking you to please go back to Amazon and leave us a 5-star review, because I know this book has changed so many people's lives, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say on how it's changed your business and your life. So woo-hoo. It's always a pleasure to be on the set with you.
I know, it's always a pleasure. And if you need help and you don't know where to get started, you can always reserve that success planning session, and we can help guide you. That's what we do. We guide you to success. Ding, ding, ding. Thank you so much for being with us. Stay safe, healthy, and until next time, stay inspired.